the session. Welcome, sir.
A voice is clear now.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. Today we
Good
will be
evening, sir.
talking about Vedic approaches to management and learning. And at the outset, I would like to clarify by Vedic approaches, I do not mean only the four Vedas. By Vedic approaches, I mean all the text, including Upanishads, Vedantas, and all, integrated approach of Indian philosophical thought towards management and engineering. So basically, I will be talking about management. So as we have already talked, that there is a growing interest in Indian knowledge systems, Indian knowledge tradition, and which has sparked us to gather here and on the subject. So as I said, by Vedic knowledge system, I mean the text in Vedas, Upanishads, Smritis, Dharma Shastra, and all these texts have an integrated approach towards life, ethics, and governance. These texts give prime importance ethics and one's duty. Let's start with Rith, which implies cosmic order, and it's a universal law governing nature, combining all the moral and physical order. And the harmony between the conduct and the cosmic rhythm forms the foundation of ethical governance. So, this principle basically deals with the governance of the Srishti, that means the creation of God. And in a way, it leads to dharma. Dharma, not in the sense of religion, but in the sense of one's moral duty towards his assigned task. So basically, dharma is the foundation of leadership. It describes, it defines one's duty with an ethical accountability. One's role has been clearly sustained in the social order. It is clearly mentioned that dharma means that it's a moral duty, not only moral, but an assigned duty with a moral character. Is the professional ethics, is the professional approach that comes into our mind. And there is a slok in Bhagavad Gita, Swadharme Nidhanam Shreya Parmo Dharma Bhayavaha. Better to perform one's own duty imperfectly than another's duty perfectly. That means you should be concentrated about your duty rather than what others are doing. The other aspect is the Purusharth. It is the four goals of life. The first one is the dharma, that is the ethical duty, moral order. implying in the present world about the corporate ethics. Second is the earth, the resources, the wealth, and in the modern sense, in the management today, it is the profit and sustainability. When we talk of calm, it is motivation, it is aspiration, and in terms of modern management theories, it is the employee engagement. The fourth aspect is the moksha, defining higher purpose, and in the modern context, it is the organizational vision and legacy. So when we talk of king, the Rajarshi model, so basically Rajarshi is a combination of two words, Raj and Rishi. Raj implying a ruler, a hard taskmaster, and Rishi implying a learned person. So Rajarshi is expected to be a self-controlled and a wise leader, combining the authorities and wisdom. In a way, our text say that the management comes from within, that one should start with a self-management. And this would certainly lead to ethical governance, welfare oriented decisions, and these will be a moral example for others. So, in today's management, is the transformational and servant leadership. There were many theories. If you see the experiment by Elton Mayo, when he designed the making in a watchmaking industry, he noticed that ultimately, because at the start there was a rise in production, but in the later sense, later time, there was a fall in production. So he realized that there is a pressure group that has been created. So to prevent this creation of those such kind of pressure groups, the relation between they were early democratic institutions, Sabha and Samiti. Sabha was a council of experienced and a closed uh, people, which resembles the kitchen cabinet in the organizations of today. But Sabha was a positive aspect. Kitchen cabinet comes in a negative aspect. And Samiti was a general assembly of a collective decision making. That was a kind of a general body meeting where every stakeholder was present. As far as Kautilya is concerned, his administrative engineering involved strategic planning, resource optimization, intelligence networks. His intelligence network was kind of its own and a marvelous intelligence network, crisis management. And Kautilya was so devoted to the task that whatever the principles he laid 1,000 years before are true today also. Now comes the one aspect, that is the functional division. So one has been classified by the qualities and the work. So it involves skill specialization, role alignment, and interdependence. So in those times, Gurukul was the knowledge system where learning was imparted by the Guru, and learning process was a way of living. The Guru used to have one-to-one interaction in a close mentorship, and these close mentorship in a closed environment, the teacher-taught ratio was also good in this manner. So the character formation, that character means the integration of the ethics and the knowledge, was very good.
बंद करो बेटू, चले आओ उधर.
The engineering in the Vedic period was mainly in Vastu Shastra, and today we have the temple architecture with the remaining. And Yagna was the structured project model. It has clearly defined roles. Who has to do what? Like in our tradition, आजकल हम लोग भी कोई हमारे यहाँ फंक्शन होता है, विवाह होते हैं, तो उसमें विवाह में हर एक का रोल सिग्निफाइड है, वेल डिफाइंड. हर रिलेटिव का वेल डिफाइंड है. सो इन अ सिमिलर वे ये संस्कार भी एक तरीके के यज्ञ, और with a defined role, with a strict time schedule. समय भी बताया गया है, कौन सा संस्कार किस समय किया जाएगा, कौन सा यज्ञ किस समय किया जाएगा. This is well defined. And the resource coordination. Who is responsible for what aspect of yajna? कौन क्या वस्तु लेके आएगा, किसका कंट्रीब्यूशन क्या होगा, किसका रोल क्या होगा. That has been very well defined, and it's a project model kind of. Or there is an ecological consciousness implying harmony with nature, moral duty, and cyclic regeneration, that implying a renewable resource thinking. As the Atharvaved says, so the bonding between earth and a human being is of a mother and the son. So naturally, as far as Arthashastra is concerned, since it deals with statecraft, so obviously the risk and crisis management aspect have been dealt with. And of these aspects, the prime important ones are the intelligence networks, the collection of the data, the analysis, and after the analysis, the risk anticipation and assessment. Then comes the planning to tackle those challenges. And while planning, sometimes we have to take help of others, have a strategic alliance, plan a strategy, and develop a crisis mechanism. Mantra was a source of communication. When we do some worship and chant a mantra, we mean to communicate to God. Similarly, mantras are a means of communication or a coded communication between two entities. It may be anybody. And the beauty is that
हमारे साथ यही प्रॉब्लम है, पता है?
it has a phonetic precision, a rhythmic and a repetition nature
जल्दी आओ, आधा घंटा हो
with
गया.
a layered symbolism. So everything is well defined in it. When we talk of karma, a word comes, nishkam karma. That means one should do his duty and should not worry for the results. Nishkam karma doesn't mean should be clear in your mind, but you should take it as your moral duty and should not be very consistent with the result. You should be open to results. Your prime aspect is to perform your duty rather than worrying for the result.
आना बिट्टू,
As far as the cyclic time is concerned,
आ जाओ उधर.
it has been mentioned in all the Vedic texts that time goes on its speed and it is cyclic only in the sense that in long-term perspectives, you can design it for a limited period. That means your goal should be time dependent. And for this, an strategic foresight is required. जहां तक ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल एथिक्स की बात है, तो ethics are threefold. The first one is the satya, that means truthfulness, having its foundation in trust and transparency. The second aspect is ahimsa or the non-violence. Non-violence implies ethical conduct in all directions. Ahimsa, non-violence, doesn't imply that you should not react to any oppression. Integrity is the third aspect, which implies accountability grounded in spiritual. And in Taittiriya Upanishad, there is a shlok, Satyam Vad Dharmacha. You speak truth, practice rightness. So basically, it's a principle for corporate governance that one should be honest for his work and should report clearly. The data supplied to your employer should be clear. You should not hide anything. As far as economic administration was concerned, as the Arthashastra, as the word goes, it mentions about the clear-cut revenue system, where the officials responsible for the revenue collection, what was the mechanism, it all has been dealt with in Arthashastra. The duties of the king has also been mentioned there. In modern management theory, the conflict has been defined. There has been a management thinker, Mary Packer Foley. He defined conflict as a moment in the interaction of desires. जब दो लोगों के डिजायर टकराएंगे तो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट अराइज होगी. And there are three methods to resolve. First one is the domination. One wins, other loses. एक जना जो पावरफुल है, हम लोग कहते हैं ना ये जिसकी लाठी उसकी भैंस, जो पावरफुल है he rules, other weaker has to compromise with his will. Second जो aspect है, second जो method है, that is compromise. In compromise, both the parties have to compromise with their desires. कुछ एक जना पीछे हटेगा, कुछ दूसरा पीछे हटेगा, and they should evolve at a common solution. And the third and the most righteous, according to Fole, is integration. In integration, the major role is of dialogue.
8 बज गए 8.
Both the parties should sit. There should be an open discussion or an open dialogue on the nature of the problem, and a common solution should evolve from the dialogue. This dialogue can be in mediation of some experienced one or some ombudsman. So such methodology has also been given in our Vedic literature. There is a shlok that move together, speak together, and think together, resembling what Mary Pecker Fole said in his concept of integration. The next one is the innovation, which is deep rooted in the context. As far as contextual solutions are concerned, engineering and knowledge adapted to environment and community requirements. And there should be open thinking. Open thinking means its positive suggestions should always be welcome. And these lead to a parallel thinking coming to a consequence. As far as precision is concerned, precision is a quality that is requisite in management. And the watchword is that one should see order and perfection in his work. And only the ordered and a perfectionist approach will lead to yoga karmasu kaushalam. Excellence in action is yoga. Yoga doesn't mean exercising or this power yoga, which is you do now these days. Yoga is a way of living. A way of living aimed at excellence. Now, as we talk of yagna, the defined roles, the interdependence, and the shared intent promotes a holistic worldview. In each Upanishad, which is the shortest Upanishad and most relevant, still most relevant, being shorter but still relevant, says that all is pervaded.
उधर
It implies the interconnected universe, the cosmic balance, the ethics and ecology, and the governance.
सब है ना, समझ में तो आती नहीं किसी चीज आपको.
Now we come to the student stage or the learning stage. Then comes the grahast, that means the householder responsibility, looking after the children, looking after the wife. Then the gradual withdrawal, that is the vanaprastha. And then sannyas, that is the renunciation or self-denial. Now let us compare this with our modern forms. When we see the modern management theory, the hierarchical theories, The major exponents of these hierarchical theories were Abraham Maslow and Frederick Herzberg. Both of them gave an hierarchical theory, and they said that one need start with the basic one. The basic need is the food and safety need. Then comes the physiological needs. Then comes the esteem needs, and ultimately the self-actualization. So at the start, the food and safety need is what you call brahmacharya. You take education, आप पढ़ते हैं, विद्या ग्रहण करते हैं. What is life about? You learn all those things. Then you long for a bread. नौकरी आप ढूंढते हैं. So that is brahmacharya. नौकरी मिलने के बाद you enter into grahastha. Then your physiological needs, your safety, love and belonging needs come into picture. Family increase होती है, belongingness की needs आती हैं, safety needs आती हैं. When you grow up, you get promotion in your job, which implies for esteem needs. And ultimately, the highest order needs are the self-actualization or self-realization. And this is the hierarchy. The sequence is well defined. So the self-actualization is sanya. So the hierarchy is similar to the modern management theories. So the Vedic concepts meet the modern theories. Dharma implying ethical leadership, Rit implying the systems theory, Yagna implying the project management, and Nishkam Karma implying the intrinsic motivation. When we go for the fundamental distinction, the Vedic framework is spiritual, the modern one is profit-centric. The ancient system sees your duty as your dharma, as your responsibility, not as a motive of profit. But for the modern system, you do work either for profit or for money. The traditional theories believed in cyclic concepts, while the modern theories believe in linear concepts. So the limitations between the two are the first context is the philosophical depth, then comes empirical rigor, then historical context and scholarly neutrality. These are the context in which the management goes. Such theories in the modern management are the grid theory, the managerial grid, Hersey Blanchard theory, and in our Indian context, these are the philosophical grids. Modern theories also believe in duties and roles, but the philosophical part is missing. The philosophical and the spiritual part is missing. Everything is in terms of goals and profit.
पानी पी लो, हमारी बोतल में है गर्म, उसमें मिला के पीना होता, खाना खा के पानी नहीं पिए.
So the integrative understanding for tomorrow requires a value-based leadership, aimed at sustainable development using an indigenous frameworks in an ethical culture.
पहले जो कल टेस्ट है उसका
So this is the need of the hour.
फिर आगे पढ़ो।
And the ultimate aim is Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. May all beings be happy.
बेटा उससे माइंड बॉडी आंखें खराब हो
And with this, I would like to
चीज की
end, and we can have some discussion if you like.
Yes, participants, you can ask the question.
Thank you so much, sir. That was very enlightening session. Now we will open the floor for questions. Anybody wants to ask anything to sir?
Dr. Punit, thank you again for fantastic session. एक क्वेश्चन था मेरे तरफ से. There are these lot of frameworks like decision making frameworks, prioritization frameworks, जैसे कि आपके 4P मॉडल्स हो गए, बहुत सारे ऐसे मॉडल्स एंड फ्रेमवर्क्स वगैरह आज के मैनेजमेंट प्रैक्टिसेस में मिलते हैं. So a lot of managers and leaders like to think or subscribe to these kind of frameworks. ऐसे कोई frameworks या ऐसे कोई structured approaches क्या हमें मिलते हैं? अर्थशास्त्र में काफी सारे हैं, I'm aware of it, but मैं just कह रहा हूँ कि would you like to share something जो इनके भी parallels हो?
देखिए, पैरेलल मैंने कुछ तो आपको अभी बात की. अभी एग्जाम्पल ले लेते हैं हम. जो हमारा ऑपरेशन सिंदूर था, दैट वाज बेस्ड, उसका कंपैरिजन आप जो साम दाम दंड भेद की नीति अर्थशास्त्र में वर्णित है, यू कैन कंपेयर इट. आई हैव written an article and organizer on this, comparing both. तो वो साम दाम दंड भेद की प्रिंसिपल पे है. As far as modern theories are concerned, जितनी भी थ्योरीज हैं, वो लास्ट में आके जो अल्टीमेट थ्योरी है, दैट इज द कंटिजेंसी अप्रोच. जैसा आप स्थिति देखें उस हिसाब से निर्णय लें. All the management theories ultimately come to a point कि contingency approach जो है, जब सारी approaches fail हो जाएं, then you should have the contingency approach. तो पहले भी यही theories थी और अर्थशास्त्र में सब theories दी गई हैं जो कि आज भी उतनी ही true हैं. अर्थशास्त्र जो डिप्लोमेटिक टाइज के बारे में बात करता है, वो आज भी उतनी ही सत्य हैं. वो प्रिंसिपल आज भी सत्य हैं उतने ही. और जितने भी अर्थशास्त्र में किंग के रोल डिफाइंड हैं, वो आज भी ब्यूरोक्रेसी के रोल उतने ही सत्य हैं. क्योंकि पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन जब आप पढ़ते हैं, कोई भी एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर ब्यूरोक्रेट की ट्रेनिंग होती है, तो उसमें उसको अर्थशास्त्र की भी कोर्स दिया जाता है. क्योंकि इंडियन जो हमारा सिस्टम ऑफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन है, वो मोर सक्सेसफुली अर्थशास्त्र से ही चल सकता है. मॉडर्न थ्योरीज तो कंटिजेंसी अप्रोच पे, जैसे आपने अभी डिसीजन मेकिंग बात की, हर्बर्ट साइमन का हम डिसीजन ट्री ले लें, तो that tree can give you a structured dimensions of decision making. लेकिन practical circumstances में उसमें जो ethical values होनी चाहिए, जो धर्म का एक रूपता होनी चाहिए, जो उसमें ethical dimensions हैं, वो decision making models में absent है. They are more materialistic nature. तो उसमें डिटेल में अभी जाने का समय नहीं है. और मैंने भी जो मैनेजमेंट पढ़ा है वो टेरी फ्रैंकलिन और डोनाल्ड कोड्स, इन्हीं थिंकर्स को मैंने मतलब ज्यादा देखा। साइमन का भी डिसीजन मेकिंग अप्रोच अच्छी है, डिसीजन ट्री उनकी, बट अर्थशास्त्र इज फार बेटर इन प्रैक्टिकल सर्कमस्टांसेस as far as Indian decision making is concerned.
Thank you so much, sir.
Mr. Rahul Kumar has raised his hand. Sir, you want to ask? Oh, he has left. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Your lecture beautifully highlighted the integration of Indian knowledge system with modern science and education and provided us with valuable academic and practical perspectives. The clarity of your presentation and depth of your experience have truly enriched our understanding. So, on behalf of the organizing committee and all the participants, I extend my sincere gratitude to you for delivering such an enlightening and insightful session. So, as we conclude the fifth day of our conference, I would like to thank all the participants also for their active participation. Tomorrow we gather for the final day of this meaningful academic journey. It will not only be a culmination of discussion, but also a celebration of collective learning and collaboration. I request everyone to join us with the same enthusiasm and intellectual curiosity as we move towards the valedictory session. So thank you so much, sir. It was very enlightening.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.